Hello again, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Yvonne Gamble, co-founder of Women Leading Change Now, and we are a political advocacy group in the United States. And today we have with us a treat from London, England. It is Kate Toohey, and she's going to be talking to us about wills and conveyances. And we are at the United Nations CSW, and we are convening our 65th conference on the status of women. Our goal is goal number 8, and our parallel event is on aligning your financial goals. So we're going to jump right in and talk to our illustrious guest all the way from London, England, Kate Toohey, and she's going to tell us about wills and conveyances and all the things that we need to know. So I'm going to step back, bring her on board, and say good morning to her. And Kate, it is so wonderful to have you here with me, on our 65th convening of the United Nations Conference on the Status of Women, and to be speaking with us about aligning your financial goals. What can you say to us from Mario, England? What is it like this morning there?
Yes, it's great to join you. I'm delighted that you invited me to be part of this fantastic discussion about how we can help women to align their financial goals around the world.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kate. And what you're going to be talking about, your topic, it is a very it is a much needed topic, and especially in the times that we're in right now. Wills and conveyances. How did you come about getting into this particular area?
Well, after I finished law school, I got very interested in wills and conveyancing because there was a lot of women who I met who were clients who they may have had marital breakdown or relationship difficulties. And when they moved away from that negative relationship, they didn't have any idea around their rights to their estate planning, financial goals, how to protect their property assets. And so I was always giving people advice on these areas. So I decided to try and specialize in this field, which would give people a lot more opportunity to be able to plan and have a controlled destiny over their own lives as women.
Oh, that is excellent. I love it. I love it when I see women, taking the stand and stepping up into the forefront, seeing that there's a need, seeing that there's a void that needs to be filled, and just stepping into that void and, fulfilling that for other women. So I applaud you for that. So therefore, let's jump right in. Can you tell us, what is it like working in that particular industry? I know you kind of took the bull by the horns and you jumped in and you started your own company to do that. So what is that? What has it been like?
Well, it's been really exciting. And traditionally, this industry has been dominated by men for hundreds of years. Because obviously it is linked to finance and to money, which has always been related to power and who has that knowledge around protecting their money, taxation, property, and so on, has usually traditionally been men. So to first start the business, I had to educate myself a little bit more specifically in my chosen area. So my background is law, I graduated with a law degree in the UK. And so I then went on to add to that foundation by looking at specialist areas of trust, accrediting myself, taking exams, and then making sure that I had all the skills and competencies where I would feel confident when I set up my business that I was an advisor that people can trust to come to, and that women could feel comfortable with discussing their personal finance and needs.
Excellent, excellent. And that's, and you said it. You said it all in a nutshell. And that is building up that trust and that confidence that they could come and discuss that. And I think for women, they probably feel, even more confident, being able to talk to another woman, because some of the things that we have, it becomes it goes beyond just simply the finances, what have you, and it speaks to your role, as a woman, in the family. And sometimes we have so many women who are single women, or they find themselves on the other end of a divorce. And so therefore, having someone like yourself there makes a lot of difference, in what they have to do, not just that we have to do it, but in what we have to do. So, that is excellent. I want to take a look at this. Of course, we are talking, here at the United Nations, and we're speaking to everyone around the world. So you're going to have other women who, have gone through law or maybe in, law school, and you're going to have those who may be entering in or thinking about coming into this. How easy is it to access to, once, of course, you educated yourself, you had your degrees, you had your certification. How easy for you to truly be an entrepreneur in this field and to gather and garner clientele?
Well, yes. I think that it can be difficult to break into the field, but it can be done, and I have proved that, and many other women. What you have to do is network with your family, friends, with local trade associations, maybe churches, if you're a member of a political group, and make sure that you have your promotional materials when you attend events. Promote yourself when you network in these areas. And once you have made a few wills or trusts for other people, they often recommend you. Many of my leads have been through recommendations, commendations from people in the community, the local church, even the priest has referred people to me who he came across, and there were families who didn't know what to do when their loved one had died, had to deal with their estate, the taxes, the inheritance tax, and you get referrals and build up through those links, first of all, as women. Later on, you can take on larger client estates once you build up your base gradually. Another thing to do, another thing you can do is promote yourself on social media, on LinkedIn, your services. I write articles, I write blogs, and post videos on practical legal estate planning, which can help women, and post them in women's forums.
Excellent, excellent. I like that. Very well crafted, very well thought out plan for how you're actually going to put your information out there. And so, yes, and that's an excellent pathway to putting it out there. And, that kind of gets us into our next question. You set us up perfectly for that. I was going to ask, and that is, what is the impact of the pandemic? You spoke about going out, you were going out to the networking events and activities, and now that we're kind of on lockdown and not able to, go out into a lot of these, face to face, how are you networking online? How are you making this, transitioning from pivoting, I should say, from the actual face-to-face, and now everything is online? How is that going, and how has that impacted you, economically?
Yes, it has had an impact on some of my income streams. With this type of work, you have to usually meet face-to-face, have a consultation with your client, sit down, share a cup of tea, because these are personal details, obviously, what they're going to disclose to you. And that's how you build up a good relationship. But thankfully, over the online, platforms that we've had to access during the pandemic, like Zoom, and like you and I now, we're able to still maintain that relationship face to face, even though not in person, but we can still talk and have appointments and consultation over the visual platforms which we share around the globe. Some of the difficulties from the practical side is that most legal documents like wills and trusts, they have to be signed, and they have to be signed usually in the presence of witnesses to ensure their validity. A lot of the regulators have taken into account the fact that people cannot be in the presence of their clients and witnesses at the same time because of the pandemic. So measures have been brought in to make preparations for how wills can be signed and that they'll still be accepted legally. So there was a few difficulties, but things have gradually settled down.
So that's good. That is good. And I did, with what you were saying, I signed a document, and it had to be, you're absolutely right, and it had to be notarized. And what they sent me to was an online notary. And I thought that was a very, very interesting experience. I had to submit at that exact time, I had to submit, my identification information to that person. Of course, they asked questions, that were within the documents I was signing to verify that it was me. And then, we had a visual face-to-face. And then I did an online signing, at that time, so that they could, see I was moving with my finger across the screen. And I said, wow, we have come a long way. We truly have, with technology. It was almost as though we were sitting, right across the desk from one another and talking back and forth. And I said, oh my goodness. I said, it was so wonderful because it was quick and easy. And I didn't have to, get up and go down and park my car and pay for parking, and all that stuff. And we were able to get it done very quickly, and the information, got back. So literally what would have taken maybe a day or a good part of the day to do now takes a matter of minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. So actually, it's a lot more efficient now, isn't it? And it's great that this has forced the legal and financial profession into the 21st century and making it a lot easier for the clients.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It truly is. I never even thought about there, being a day that we would have, because I can remember the signing of documents. I worked in land trust, in the financial industry, in trust services, and the whole, there was a literally one day of that whole document, putting it together, the financing
Yeah.
and everything. But you had like one day was just signing by itself. That whole entire day was just a signing day. And, so everybody would come in, everybody had to, present their documents. And I mean, that was just an activity in and of itself. So yes, now it makes a lot of difference, and it does feel good, like you said, to have moved into the 21st century of getting things done. So I
Absolutely.
guess even go ahead.
Yes, and because of the pandemic, like you said, the impact of people moving around, they can now do it electronically. It's safer, protects their health, and also a lot more people are aware of their mortality, of their need to get their finances in order, wills and trusts, because we've lost so many of our loved ones around the world due to the pandemic. So there's been a lot more increase in interest of wills and trusts, which I've been receiving.
Well, that's very good. That's good to know, because what happens is with those are things that we should have been doing and we were not. And what's very interesting with this pandemic is it has brought to light, I believe, for everyone, for every citizen, across the globe, and that is have things in order, get your life in order, get your finances in order, get your livelihood in order. What is it that you want? Where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? All these different types of things. It has truly leveled the playing field. And that kind of brings us, into what we kind of stand for, here, at the UN Women. And that is, we always want to make certain, and that's why we convene these sessions, on the status of women, is to be certain that we always, the basis is, are we making certain that things are equal access, or, that they're, equal in the way in which we operate and the way in which we do things. So in this industry, you spoke about this being a very, highly, male dominated field, which many times the field of financing is. I know I'm a venture capitalist. I understand fully. But on your side of the house, how does women's equality fit into being able to, have that business and will and conveyances, and to have people to come to you and trust you because you are a woman and not a man?
Well, yes, it's great for more women to enter into this field, because often women will feel more confident to be able to speak to an advisor and disclose their personal finances to a woman. And you can also have empathy and understanding, because that woman may have children, may have older parents who they are caring for, who they would like to leave a legacy for. And so often women who want to seek out women, and the more women who come into this area of work and this sector, will give women more an opportunity to be able to find a professional who they can identify with, feel comfortable with, and be able to sort out their finances and their estate planning, which, as you say, is vital for everyone to do, for the future generations.
Yes, that's it. And I love the way you kind of sum that up, for the future generations, because it makes such a difference especially when we talk about finances and we talk about wealth building and generational wealth. And wills and conveyances are a way for you to actually build that generational wealth. We're going to wrap this up with, Kate Tui's, any last thoughts or last encouragements that she wants to give to the women, out there, around the globe, even to young women who may want to come, into this industry with that. So, Kate, do you have any last thoughts, parting thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Yes, I would say that you should go for it. If this is an area where you have a passion for, if you feel that you can bring a difference and make a difference to someone's life by advising them, you should definitely go for it, because the majority of property and land and assets around the world are owned by men. And a lot of the reason is women are not aware of how they can plan their estate to leave for future generations. They could leave a gift or make their beneficiaries the female members of the family, so they would be able to inherit their wealth. They could protect female members' daughters and so on from inheritance tax. If you can advise people how to do that, particularly women, you could actually be helping to tackle gender inequality across the world. So just go for it, sisters. I wish you all the best.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. And you can contact Kate at Kate Tui at www.katetuiwillwritingandconveying.com. And her information is there for you. And she does look forward to it. And we look forward to having Kate back with us. We're going to be talking about generational wealth. So you can expect to see Kate back with me talking about this subject even in more in depth. So with that, we're going to sign off and say thank you so much, Kate, from London, England. And I'm Yvonne Gamble here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. And we love it. And we love that you came on with us in this early morning time. As you can see, the sun is coming up. It is rising here. In the Western world, it's making its presence known. Isn't that wonderful, just to have that natural light to come in? So thank you so much, Kate. And we're going to sign off, and we will be seeing you later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.